of course, back with you in a couple of weeks. Good to have you with us. Christopher Russo with you at 7.
Stay tuned to the fan. Steve Summers.
Steve Summers. Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
I'm a smoker.
Radio home of Steve Summers and the flagship station for New York Jets football.
1993 New York.
Now boarding Flight 66 for the overnight journey to the best of Imus at 6.
Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday at this same time, Captain Midnight is a new program to many of our listeners. It is written for red-blooded young Americans, for boys and girls, yes, and for mother and dad, too. For everyone who's young in spirit. Captain Midnight will bring you plenty of excitement, mystery, suspense, thrills galore. It lets you live a story of real adventure, in the air and on the ground. You'll never want to miss a single broadcast of Captain Midnight, and you'll want all your friends to enjoy it, too.
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN. New York.
Well, morning to you, and how you be? 12:06 and 10 seconds on this Monday night / Tuesday morning on the Fan, New York City. Steve Summers here, you there, Sweeney Murty on the other side of the glass. 718-937-6666. Number to call as we begin overnight under the covers. Schmoozing. Some SPORGS with you until Imus best of at 6 here on the Fan, New York City. The Yankees were aggressive. They hit the ball hard. Jim Abbott pitched his best game of the year. They out-hit the Jays. They turned the double play. Paul Ossenmacher was perfect. 43,304 on hand. The Yankees lost.
3-2 pitch on the room.
I'm David Brinkley of the important ABC News program, This Week with David Brinkley. I am Walter Cronkite. I used to be.
We know what you used to be. So why go into it?
Well, a lot of people, there you go.
All right, here now on the Imus in the Morning program, Rush Limbaugh. Good morning, Rush.
Guardian of common sense and proponent of the way things really ought to be, I am Rush Limbaugh, suffering here with you through the aberrational anomaly known as the Clinton presidency. An administration that will hereafter be known as a couple of white guys sitting around talking and not doing anything constructive. You know, I saw Jurassic Park the other night, and I actually found myself longing for those kinder, gentler, simpler times when prehistoric man had to get up, go out, and kill something in order to eat. He couldn't just sit around the cave and go down to the unemployment rock and get a few shells to buy mastodon meat. He had to go hunt it down. And when the mastodon tore the caveman's leg out of its socket, there was no such thing as national health care to fall back on. He either stuck a stick in the hole or he bled to death. You know, it made me think about history and how the Stone Age gave way to the Bronze Age and then to the Iron Age. Well, I think that when you look on the historical timeline, we are living in the midst of the politically correct age. And I think it bites the big weenie. If a caveman were alive today, he couldn't hunt mastodon. No, that would be politically incorrect. They would be an endangered species. And the radical, lesbian, feminist, pinko, cat-loving animal rights activists would have them locked away in a preserve somewhere. But even if he could find some small, insignificant beast that one of the friends of the warm and fuzzy deemed okay to kill, he'd have to do it by hand, because the anti-spear lobby would prevent him from using a weapon. And he'd have to eat his prey raw, because he couldn't cut down any firewood, no. The tree-hugging sapling suckers wouldn't let him. The rainforest, you know, we won't have enough oxygen by the year 3572. Well, Fred Flintstone would go back to his cave sad and dejected, and he couldn't even tell his troubles to his wife Wilma because she'd have a career, and Pebbles and Bam Bam would be in daycare. And after all that, he couldn't even avail himself of governmental programs. They'd be reserved for those lower on the evolutionary scale, the ones who didn't have opposable thumbs and walk erect.
That'll be fine.
Well, I tell you, I'm glad Alley-oop isn't around to see how his species has evolved. So as a tribute to my Neolithic ancestor, Rock Limbug, I'm gonna go down to the Chinese laundry, get Hop Sing to press off my polyester hunting shirt, drive my gas-guzzling caddy up to the mountains, clear-cut a few acres of forest with a chainsaw, kill me a couple of spotted owls with my AK-47, stick the carcasses in a non-biodegradable plastic bag, throw them in a landfill, and then stop at a diner for lunch, where I'll call the Puerto Rican waitress Honey and order a tuna sandwich with extra dolphin. More after this.
Girl to here. They ought to send you back to Russo, boy, or New York City one. You just want to doodle a Christian girl and you kill God's only son.
Imus in the morning.
Nice back.
All right, here now, the senior senator from the state of Massachusetts, Edward M. Kennedy.
Thank you. As many of you are aware, the Kennedy family has for years been star-crossed in the pursuit of our interests, both public and private. My brother John suffered his Bay of Pigs in Cuba and later in the White House itself with the advent of Angie Dickinson, Marilyn Monroe, and Judith Exner. My brother Bobby often found himself locked in struggle with J. Edgar Hoover, and later locked in estrus with Ms. Monroe and others too numerous to recount here. I, Edward, endured not only their tribulations, but from time to time, my own. Ms. Monroe, of course, passed on before I myself got a shot at her. An unfortunate choice of words. Let me rephrase the thought. She experienced demise before I could experience dem thighs. But despite her loss, and while I'm not proud of it, I have been caught with my trousers about my ankles on occasion, both in the figurative and, sad to say, literal sense. But all of that is history that can neither be changed nor rewritten.
No.
But past difficulties, troubling as they were, must be put aside this morning. For it is a new sense of desolation and despair that overwhelms me today. Indeed, I would rather face Anita Hill again and actually ask her some questions than confront what fate delivers now. Imus in the morning in Boston. This increasingly powerful media figure who has no controls governing him can now lay out in detail before my Bay State constituents the various picadillos that occasionally beset me. While a number of my colleagues assigned to Imus a certain cachet, even appearing to fawn over him, Bill Bradley, my old friend Chris Dodd, Senator D'Amato and Dole among them, I do not fall into that category. I refuse to be carried away by this swelling tide of Imus adulators. Let me put that another way. I will not be found in some I-man, A-man chorus, currying favor with a sophomoric comic who thinks it's amusing to play a sound effect of an automobile skidding out of control, followed by a voice gurgling help every time somebody happens to mention the name Ted Kennedy. Oh, how droll. Rest assured that because of such insensitivity, the Federal Communications Commission will be asserting itself in this national expansion of the Imus program. Or my name's not Ted Kennedy. Oh,
Imus in the morning.
Mix in the Quaker Oats, slide that whole conglomeration into Tom Turkey, just like this. Bake, remove from the oven, like the one I've already prepared over here. Look at that. Is that something? Juice oozing out everywhere, and that oatmeal stuffing sitting there smiling at you. Mm-mm. Let her stand at room temperature for 20 minutes, then remove the wishbone first, then the wings, but leave the drumsticks attached. You're going to need those in just a minute when you get to the Butterball Brimley bonus, so leave them be.
Mr. Brimley, we show the next step here is removing the legs. Why are you leaving them on?
Handholds, son.
Handholds?
Right.
Why handholds, Mr. Brimley?
So she don't slip away on you.
I see, slip away. Well, where's that in the copy?
It's not. I got it all right up here, as told to me by Uncle Henry.
Right.
Pay attention. You might just learn something for a change. So what's next? With a dripping golden butterball, body cavity packed with hot oatmeal stuffing? Well, back on the farm, us kids would all draw straws for that one to see who got to check the turkey with their meat thermometer.
No.
You just crawl up here on the table like this.
No.
And you grab the bird by them drumsticks you left hooked on, and then you stick in your meat thermometer.
I don't think so.
When you're done, It's done.
No.
Oh, Mom will probably fade into the sweet potatoes, and baby Noreen will be gagging on a carrot stick.
Yeah.
But you won't care, because you're in the middle of the dining room table playing Bump the Bird with a boner that'd make the Mayflower Madam say, "Hey, Pilgrim, this one's on the house." The oatmeal Brimley Butterball Boner Bonus. It's the right thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Imus in the morning.
We're here to demonstrate 2020 sports.
Yankees lose to the first-place Blue Jays.
Are better than, which actually is better than the regular Imus in the morning, because you don't have to wait 3 hours for me to, get my thoughts together and come up with something that's even remotely amusing.
Yeah, get the book reviews right away.
Eileen, the Marchese Cohen, is here now with the 9X Mobile Fan Highway Patrol. You know, Eileen, I have the entire text now of this survey that was conducted by the Ladies' Home Journal.
Imus in the morning in full effect. MC Charles McSee, Bernard Supreme, and my main man Louie. We kicking the flow, and it goes a little something like this. Ah, man, back again. Radio icon, let's begin. Party on, party people, let me hear some noise. Imus in the house, jump, rejoice. Boner over here, a boner over there. Stick your breasts in the air, shake your derriere. These three words when they're getting busy. Oh, that is hit me.
Entertainment and revenue-generating portion of your broadcast day. We now return you to the rest of your local programming schedule. An indecipherable embarrassment of broadcasting incompetence that compelled the station to subscribe to the Imus in the Morning program in the first place. The entertainment and revenue-generating portion of the broadcast day, the Imus in the Morning program, will resume tomorrow morning. Check your local listings for time and schedule.
For sports scores and sports news, it's WFAN 2020 Sports.
I'm Mike Breen, WFAN 2020 Sports, the number one sports voice in New York.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN, New York.
And good morning, everybody. It is 10:04 on the fan. Mike Lupica with you.
Eileen,
Yes,
how you doing, baby?
I'm fine.
Hey, did you hear about what Angela did to her breasts? She had breast augmentation and something went awry.
Oh my goodness. She's all right, isn't she? Nothing like got her sick.
One's pointing north, the other's pointing south. Well, no, but I mean...
Not like a leak or anything.
No.
Hanging off her back. They're
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to Imus in the morning on the fan.
I went out with a woman one time who had these silicone deals. And it's like licking on a beach ball.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? I mean, they feel different. What was their name? No, they feel different. Touching the breasts? No, he just hadn't blown her up.
Imus in the morning on the fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
You can...
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
very happy to be joined right now by Roy Reed, the president of the New York.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Some plaza is one place you'll find. What you see is what you get. Nothing like it anywhere. A silver service class. With Trump Plaza School of Stars, you want to make it last.
Nobody sings your old favorites like Jimmy Roselli, back for another sensational summer in the Trump Plaza Theater, August 10th through the 15th. For tickets to see Jimmy Roselli, call the box office at 1-800-759-8786.
Trump Plaza is a carnival, and there's so much to see. You can take a trip like Alice's Leave It All to Me.
Paul Anka for Trump Plaza.
Mike and the Mad Dog. Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
2, back on the fan. Nice to have you with us.
WFAN, right in the Mansion.
3 at 5 on the fan. Christopher Russo.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
It's another buck.
Eileen. Eileen, wake up. Eileen, look. Look at this, Eileen. Look, Eileen. Eileen, look at it smile. Oh, come on, Eileen. I showed you a good time tonight. Got a couple of slices. Shot some pool. I even bought a 6-pack. A 6 of pints. Come on, Eileen. I've been waiting all week for this. I even brushed my teeth. At least get up and take your makeup off, Eileen. I don't know. Maybe if I try a little romantic music or something. Let me see. Yeah, this will work. Eileen, at least get up so I can put a sheet on the bed. Oh, Eileen, come on. I don't know. Maybe if I roll her over. Oh, there. Ooh, I didn't know she had a tattoo. Ooh, Eileen. Yeah, she'll never notice this. Eileen. Oh, Eileen. Oh, Eileen. Oh, yes, Eileen. Oh, I love you, Eileen. Oh, you're beautiful, Eileen. Oh, Eileen. Eileen, I love you. Love you, Eileen. Oh, my God, Eileen, I love you. Oh, no, Eileen, oh.
Darling, you sent me. I know you sent me. Darling, you sent me. Honest you do, honest you do. Whoa.
Imus in the morning.
Live by the
2020 Sports.
Vince Coleman charged with a felony. Good morning.
You know,
This is
that's
Mike
not
Freeman.
funny. What's the matter with you?
It's not meant to be funny.
How would you feel if he'd have thrown a fight? This is Imus, by the way.
Yeah.
Your boss.
It sounded like Eileen. We didn't know.
How would I feel if what?
How would you feel if Vince Coleman, what would you have done if Vince Coleman had thrown that M100 firecracker at little Michael?
Well, if it bounced off Michael and hit you, I'd feel pretty good.
Oh, man.
I'd feel horrible, of course.
What would you do about it?
I'd go after him.
I'll tell you something. As my kid, he plays baseball in a wheelchair from now on.
Yeah, you got it.
Talking tough.
He gets Bo Dietl and the Mongo brothers to help him swallow his lunch. Either that or a plumber.
You bet it.
Look for his kneecaps.
Well, he feels pretty bad about what happened.
Oh, well, I imagine Ted Bundy felt pretty bad, too. He killed 28 women.
Here's one of his comments.
All right.
I haven't slept, nor have I been able to sleep.
Well, first of all, this is a racial thing when you guys just got to make fun of this guy's hideous syntax. Yeah. He's obviously nervous. He's not a public speaker. And so he misspoke himself. And right away we're going to make a big deal out of it. And the reason you're making a big deal out of it is because all of you there, with the exception of Lou, are racist goons.
Right. I'm not a racist.
Yeah.
Who said I wasn't a racist?
Mike Lupica. I'm not a racist.
Oh, who said you could be on this thing?
I don't know. I just heard you on the phone and I missed you. I want to be with you. Please let me come over to the hospital.
Bring it. Do you have my gifts and stuff?
But yes, Taylor bought you lots of clothes.
Taylor, the yuppie wife from hell.
She's not the yuppie. She's very
Man.
She's very concerned about you because she thinks
because nobody's promoting her hideous baseball game. And by the way, I won't be able to be at the baseball game, it looks like now.
Oh, so this is it. So you have finally succeeded in faking your own death.
Well, no,
Haven't you?
I'll probably be there.
Bad Dream 2/memorial service for the Iman.
Hang on, what was my blood pressure?
Too high.
Yeah.
120 over what? 120 over 80? What's my pulse? Well, it's because I'm talking on a phone. You see, here's the first of all, nurse. You're not taking a resting pulse rate properly.
Oh,
a resting pulse rate. Is that what you want? My resting pulse rate?
What an idiot.
They want him to die too.
But my resting pulse rate really is down around 40, not 80.
Candy Striper commits suicide.
Yeah, I guarantee it is.
Can't you see the little Candy Stripers throwing themselves out of his hospital room?
I don't think I've made a friend here with the nurse. At least she's not fat. Man, all the nurses here are so fat, it's unbelievable. They are fat. What do you mean not true? I see them here. I sit here all day, nurse. They come in and they're fat. They come in, they steal stuff off my trays. They come and take my dinner rolls and stuff. Hello?
Got any phone numbers from the Candy Stripers yet?
Shut up.
Wouldn't be the first time, would it, man?
No, Mike, it wouldn't. Too bad the women's tennis tour is not in town, isn't it?
God, I think it's the drugs talking now, Chuck.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's the morphine, Chuck.
Hallucinating? No.
By the way, are you the nurse here? Well, that's right. You told me that, right? I need a pain shot because they've been injured. And first of all, they came in when they gave me an X-ray, and this guy can't even speak English. That's number one. That's great. And then he bangs into the bed with the X-ray thing, and I've got this tube in my chest. Now, I'm an older man now. I'm 53 years old. I'm not some child.
Look directly.
So can you give me some a painkiller deal, please? Thank you.
What's happening? I'm Mike Breen, WFAN 2020 Sports, the #1 sports voice in New York.
And good morning, everybody. It is 10:04 on the fan. Mike Lupica with you. I will be with you between 10 and noon today. I am sitting here with my friend Mike Breen. It seems that somehow, someway...
WFAN 66ers are
#1 sports voice in New York.
We are back. It is 11:04 on the fan. Mike Lupica with you, and... Hi, this is Dave Jen. Back on the fan, hour 4. Nice to have you aboard. Christopher Russo on Sports Radio 66. Mike on vacation, of course. Back with us in a couple of weeks.
Uganda Chicken Knockers Yugoslav Observer Unity Newsroom. I'm Walter Cronkite. I'm David Brinkley.
Here now the news. State of California correction officials say they're determined to find out who was responsible for placing a whoopee cushion on the San Quentin gas chamber chair this week, just as condemned double murderer Robert Alton Harris was strapped into the device. The episode produced a momentary furor when nobody appeared to know just what was happening, feared the worst. WCNN, PTL, IFT, WWE, TI, ESPN, YSF, UC, KYOU microphones were there. The recorder was described as a very ugly moment.
All right, Harris, we're strapping you in. Sit down.
Jesus, gas. Clear the chamber. Gas.
Wait a minute. All right. Who's the f***ing comedian here, huh?
Is that you, Harris? You some kind of comedian? Do I amuse you?
In another prison half a continent away, Indiana correction officials are investigating a report claiming one of 9 visitors entertained by Mike Tyson over the weekend was sitting on his lap and was, quote, all over him. The visitor, variously identified as Angela Boyd and B. Angie B., was questioned by IIWC, WNP, yada, 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 reporters about the alleged meeting. Yeah, well, see, I told him, Mike, I'm going to be your girlfriend. I'm going to be pretty for you, mate. I'll come around a bed check and check it out. Now, kiss me with them little skinny white boy lips you somehow wound up with. Yeah, right there.
Reports out of London suggest the Freddie Mercury Memorial AIDS Awareness Concert may generate some $17 million or more. No thanks to actress Elizabeth Taylor, who fans made clear was a less than welcome presence at the event.
Thousands more that probably don't even know they're infected. I'll get off in a minute. I'll get off. I have something to say.
Then, making an emphatic statement that they could not care less what the bathing star had to say, they called for her to have a pulmonary embolism.
chagrined Taylor spoke with reporters, saying she hated England as she pathetically groped for answers, her voice heavy with emotion.
I just gotta go back to the beginning again. It's been a long road to get here. It's gonna be a long road to get back, but I'm not gonna give up. I've worked too hard.
An emotional Liz Taylor after being hooted off the stage at Wembley Stadium by equally emotional fans calling for her death. And finally, borrowing a page from abortion demonstrators in Buffalo, New York, residents of Southport, Connecticut, early today staged what police called a particularly nasty protest outside the waterfront home of radio host Don Imus. The protesters, all said to be neighbors of Imus, represented a radical offshoot of the people protesting in Buffalo called Retro Choicers, whose only goal, spokesman Thistle Hawkins said, was to get Imus to move or to kill himself.
Chuck, what's the difference between a Gentile pervert and a Jewish pervert?
Bernie.
The Gentile says, hey, kid, want some candy?
Yeah.
The Jewish pervert says, hey, kid, you want to buy some candy? My man, Imus. I just wish I could be out there listening myself.
Bernard.
So that's all she wrote.
Bernard. Yeah. Get back in the studio.
Anyway, Chief.
The Somali-born supermodel Iman is emerging as one of the most visible and vocal advocates of her homeland in all of the middle of all of this. Once again weighing in. During a news conference yesterday, Iman said Somalia needs help in many ways.
Military intervention alone is not enough. For every bowl of rice, we need 10 committed words of reconciliation.
What?
For every cup of water, we need a paragraph outlining a resolution toward peace negotiation.
Right. And Iman putting on her,
Just eat
got
the
some
food and leave me alone.
It is not enough for every drop of rain that falls. A flower grows.
Shut up, little maggot.
Now, we're over there already. What else do you want?
She assumed then, I guess, her flak jacket rolled as she told us a couple of things about military exercises. She said, while the possibility of...
Can't you control them? Is there nothing? Well, no, you can't, but I don't. I mean, there's just, nothing you can do about it. The point is, they're right. It's true. I mean, it's just...
Shut up.
God. For every fried chicken, we need a chapter.
We need paper plates, too, to eat the food.
I mean, it's just... Settle down, both of you. This thing is just out of control. I mean, that's just... I mean, she means well, but she's got her priorities are all screwed up, and they just... And in addition to all that, we're going to find here in the next couple of weeks, I hate to be pessimistic about this. Flashback.
Christmas in Somalia ain't got no eats. All them dudes are his heads, hands, and feet. Bad news. Yeah, everybody, bad news. Got the low-down Motown Mogadishu grocery store blues. Hey, Imus, king of rock and roll there.
Oh, hi, stupid.
Now, let me say something right up front. That we got some real hooky-dooky over there in your basic Congo, man, or wherever the heck that is.
Fine.
I mean, the one place on the planet that Elvis Presley has no interest being is in the middle of a famine, Hoss. Hell, I could single-handed cause a famine if I was still alive, which, of course, I'm not.
Good.
So why the hell are we going on about?
Why are we?
Anyway, I'm working on a new national Somalia song here. I ain't got much, but she starts off like this. Put a mint on my pillow. I mean, what's up with that? God almighty, I saw a picture of one of those dudes wearing some kind of turban thing on his head. I thought I was looking at a Q-tip, man. One thing they ain't going to need in no relief supplies is dental floss, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. You know, though, they could fix that whole mess in a Mogadishu minute if somebody could come up with a couple recipes for flies, for crying out loud.
Elvis.
Man, that's nasty. I mean, I don't want to sound insensitive here, Imus, but don't they have a word in their language that means shoe? I wrote a little song about it to express the depth of my concern, you know, just like I was Sinead O'Connor or somebody. Let's see. Forget about the food, forget about the water. First thing to send them is a damn fly swatter. Got bugs, everybody got bugs. They're buzzing on my cousin, everybody got a dozen damn bugs. As soon as they get this situation straightened out a little bit over there, I'd be like in the corner of the damn market on fly paper, I'll tell you that. I'd make them Hunt brothers look like they were starving, if you know what I'm saying. Hey, completely off the subject, but thinking about Africa and flies reminded me of it. Is that like a dead wildebeest on Andrew Stein's head or what? Man, it's some kind of roadkill, that much I know. And let me take a swipe at Bob Packwood as my time runs out here. Hey, Senator, take a couple laps around the track, man. Hit the shower, lay off the ginseng, or just slam that sumbitch in the drawer a time or two, okay? You're making us all sick, you weasel. Yeah. I wrote a little tune about it to get the heck out of here on. Well, a little pinch here, a pat or two there. Did I ever tell you, baby, that you got nice hair? Just a little touch, an innocent squeeze. I can't help it, baby, I got backwood disease, pawing chicks. That's the way I get my kicks. It's the Packwood, Kennedy, Clinton kind of politics. Stop squirming there, Mama.
Hi, this is Elvis Presley. I guess the first thing people want to know is why I can't stand still.
No, because of the entertaining the prospect of having to pay taxes going back to January 1st.
Yeah, that's not a good part of this.
You know, Senator Bradley, if the taxes are retroactive, we want our votes to be retroactive.
Right, I understand that. I don't think that's a good part of this package at all, personally.
No, it isn't, is it?
Nah.
Mr. Imus wants to talk. Tonight at 10 o'clock, never-before-seen footage of the I-Man. Plus, Mike Breen on Primetime Live. Yeah. So, Mike, thank you very much, and please get out of the studio and let me talk to Charles. Charles.
Hey, pancake neck.
Shut up.
Oh, come on, you got a short stack under your chin.
Be quiet.
You gotta go to IHOP to wash your face.
I don't think we need to do neck jokes here this morning.
So the dog was out lifting his leg on your rolls.
Yes.
And I realized you must not have been home because you didn't come running out after him with your gun like you normally do. So I turned on the radio and I hear you in the hospital.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. How does Louis run the best of Imus while he's dancing? He's got to be doing a jig in the control room.
A what?
A jig.
Uh-huh.
You know, a little Irish dance?
Yes.
Is that going to work on your ears when you're in there, too?
Well, as a matter of fact.
So what is it, collapsed lung?
Yeah.
Got that tube in your chest to pump it up?
Yes.
While you're there, why don't you have him stick one in your neck?
I don't think, this is not working.
I can't believe this. The greatest radio personality in the world, and he ends up looking like a leather blow-up doll. That must really suck. You spend all your free time running, lifting weights, eating right, taking care of yourself, and you end up in the hospital while every fat bastard you know can sit on the couch all day doing nothing but eating mayonnaise sandwiches. So I guess now you must have a pretty good idea how talented people feel about you making $3 million a year.
Imus in the morning. Flashback.
At this time of commencement exercises across the land, Andy Rooney has been thinking about these rites of passage. Andy?
Did you ever notice how much Texas Governor Ann Richards looks like Robert Goulet? I mean, if Goulet had just stuck his head in a cotton candy machine.
Oh, yeah.
Just a thought that occurred to me as I ruminated on some of the commencement speeches at college campuses around the country. Ms. Richards was among the sages, sharing the benefit of their years with that sea of young, shining faces, all alight with potential, listening to the various exhortations of onward and upward. Thousands and thousands of grads bound by a common goal. To just get the hell out of there, get drunk, get laid, and throw up on their shoes. But first, tradition holds that they must go through the commencement exercise. Governor Richards spoke at the 114th commencement at Smith College, looking as though she had spoken at all 113 that preceded it, by the way. Does the Texas sun do that to you, do you suppose? Turn your skin into one big arroyo? For God's sake, Governor, think about some factor 40. Pat Schroeder, the sobbing congressperson from Colorado, spoke at Bryn Mawr, told the kids, we have a public service crisis in the country. Then broke down into racking sobs, as she has a penchant for doing, and was awarded an honorary PMS degree. Brian Healy, a senior producer for the CBS Evening News, declared to the kids of Penn State, I believe this nation will solve its problems only if there is a full debate of its problems. Pretty deep. Brian was a last-minute fill-in when Walt Clyde Frazier became ill. William Gray, president of the United Negro College Fund, went on at length at Fairleigh Dickinson about minority Americans, fulfillment, compelling evidence, aspirations, and the American dream. Bill, you lost me. And a commencement address is a terrible thing to waste.
Andy.
Boston University, for who
who knows why, brought in that distinguished man of letters, Mr. Rogers. He's relevant. The stiff in the hood. Kind of makes you wonder how that graduating class will stack up against the old land of the rising sun, eh? And Defense Secretary Dick Cheney was working the room at Adelphi, speaking of the profound change of the past 4 years, saying when the class of 92 were freshmen, the Communist Party still ruled Moscow. Soviet troops were in Afghanistan. Dissidents were being arrested in Eastern Europe, and the Berlin Wall still stood. The only thing I see that he might have added was, and you could still get a job. I mean, with this economy, the class of 92 couldn't get arrested if they assassinated their commencement speakers, which in most cases wouldn't be a bad idea, it occurs to me. No, with the prospect in store for this group of grads, I think the term BS degree could not be more appropriate. So, from Andy Rooney and all the gang here at CBS, congratulations, class of 92. And, could I have a large fry with that and some extra ketchup?
Imus in the morning.
How are you feeling today?
Well, one sports voice in New York.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN, New York.
And good morning, everybody. It is 10:05 on the fan. Mike Lupica with you, joined by my friend Mike Breen. In about 3 hours, the Yankees and Blue Jays.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN, New York.
It's 11:57 on the fan. They have size 60 clothes at the House of Jack. 60s? What? Refrigerator Perry went in one time? They made a suit for him. He didn't like it. They've been hoping he comes back. Who the hell buys a size 60 suit? My God. How big is the House of Jack? It's the House of Jack, King, Queen, and Ace. It's 11:58 on the fan.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN.
Sports. This is John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Jets football.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN, New York.
And a very good afternoon to one and all from Montreal. I'm Ed Coleman here on the fan. Today we have a little bit extra for Mets on deck today, and a little bit of Yankees on deck too, as a matter of fact, as they stay in the trade to
937, 66, 66.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN.
For New York Jets football.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN, New York.
9:05 on the fan. Hour number 3 is underway on a Thursday night here in New York City. Ian Eagle taking you until 12 o'clock. And then it's Captain Midnight, Steve Summers, who carries you right through the overnight period until Imus in the morning. So stay tuned for that right here on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. We've been talking a lot of baseball. First couple, no maybes.
Jets have a guy named Rudyard Kipling on their team? I don't think so.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN.
Any pro painter
mid-60s. Currently under clear skies in Central Park at 74 degrees. And that's what's happening. I'm Bill Daughtry with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Jets football.
Sports Radio 66, the fan. WFAN, New York.
10:05 on the fan. Hour number 4 is underway on a Thursday night here in New York City. Ian Eagle with you till 12 o'clock. And then it's Captain Midnight, Steve Summers, to carry you right through the overnight period here on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Coming up, more phone calls, 718-937-6666. We've had a number of guests for you so far tonight, including Barry Stanton, Peter King, Mark Collins, Calvin Williams. 8937-6666. Ian Eagle with you until 12 o'clock, and then Steve Summers. Captain Midnight comes your way then. So a lot more to do. One more hour to do it in. The update is next. Calls on the other side.
Voice Radio 66. The Fan, WFAN.
New York City, you.
Hey, I sing American folk song now. I have not been working on the railroad.
You idiot.
Which rhyme is wronga? Rhyme to see the prayer, rhyme to see wins the word, or rhyme to see Godzilla?
I think it's a line at the unemployment office. It's like a trick question, right?
Aye. It's very difficult to do joke twice because the rhyme is on no punchline, right? Thor.
Pardon me?
I said Thor. Read my lips, you round-eyed piece of What is the difference between the George Bush and the ventriloquist?
I don't know.
Ventriloquist, throw voice. George Bush, throw up voice. What do you get when you cross a donkey with Bill Clinton?
I don't know.
A donkey who is too lazy to inhale.
Right.
What do you get when you cross donkey with Hillary Clinton?
I don't know.
A donkey who refused to be subservient to her husband.
Right.
What do you get when you cross elephant with Barbara Bush?
I don't know.
Very big elephant.
I'm not stupid.
Hey, what is Jerry Brown's new campaign slogan?
I don't know.
Take back America and buy yourself something that works.
Boys.
The high kick, the pitch.
Mining teams playing each other.
Well, and in Providence, they'll have a big NBC. And it goes to K-Rock, gets these big numbers, and I go in rehab, and he's got to be thinking, that's the end of Imus, he's out of here. And then I come back and go to the Fan, and it's like Jason. Every time he thinks I'm finished off. And then his worst nightmare is when Infinity buys the Fan. So that now the same company that owns K-Rock owns the Fan, and then the next thing he knows, the Zen Master gives the I-Man a big contract, doesn't he?
Like herpes.
Yeah, and then it's like, I'm like herpes to Stern. Then the next thing you know, he keeps telling people how I'm washed up, which he's right, of course. And then the next thing you know, I'm in syndication.
Yeah.
And
He's not obsessed.
No.
Get to that, you dirtbag.
And then the next thing you know, Roger Clinton's trying to call him, and Bill Clinton's trying to call me.
Yeah. What about that, schmuck nose?
Yeah, what about that, you banana nose patty waist? Jerk face nerd.
Yeah. Yeah, say.
And the most hilarious part of all of this is how I steal material from him. Let me ask you, what would you steal from him? Lesbian dilate?
Yeah, that's real genius stuff.
So,
you know what, boss? The only difference between him and us when talking about you wanting to die and all that stuff,
yeah.
is that we really mean it.
The difference between me and Howard Stern is he wishes people had cancer, and I wish they didn't.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's really the bottom line here.
Wow. Sure.
All right, wrap this thing up.
No, but you are.
So I don't drink anymore.
But you still are.
Flashback.
All right, here now with observation and perspective on the headline issues of the day. Imus in Washington.
20 sports. Here's the 1-1 flashback.
And here now on the Imus in the Morning program, Howard Stern. Good morning, Howard.
Yeah, how you doing, Miss Howard?
Fine.
Penis.
That'll be fine.
Wow, Tampa.
Well,
I'm so jealous. What a metropolis. That's where Puerto Ricans who can't afford to live in Miami go, right?
I don't know.
It's a perfect place for you. You'll be the king of the trailer park. The chalk of the shuffleboard court.
Fine.
How soon till you read the Depends live spots? I tell you, man, you really got your work cut out for you.
Yeah.
It'll take forever to be number one down there, seeing as they have to refresh the demographic every 20 minutes. 5% will hear you for the first time in the pickup on the way to work. The other 95% will hear you for the first time in the limo on the way to the cemetery. Hey, if people from New York are New Yorkers and people from Boston are Bostonians, that'll make people from Tampa tampons, right? I heard the station was going to put your picture on the side of a bus, but then they decided to look more natural on the side of a hearse. Well, I just called really, bro, to wish you all the luck in the world. Because I think you do really well down there. Then
entertainment and revenue-generating portion of your broadcast day. We now return you to the rest of your local programming schedule, an indecipherable embarrassment of broadcasting incompetence that compelled the station to subscribe to the Imus in the Morning program in the first place. The entertainment and revenue-generating portion of the broadcast day, the Imus in the Morning program, will resume Monday morning. Check your local listings for time and schedule.
The Sports Scores, the flagship station for New York Jets football.
What do you say? Howie Rose with you on the fan until 2 o'clock this afternoon, which will give us plenty of time to go to the phones at 718-937-6666 as we hit sort of a crossroads weekend with the Yankees continuing their pennant quest and the football season, at least as far as the preseason is concerned, about to begin, which is good news to some of us who have done nothing but sit and wait since the end of the football season and the end of the
WFAN 2020 Sports, the flagship station for New York Jets football.
On the fan, Howie Rose with you until 2 o'clock. Get into the Chris Dudley situation in a little bit with Russ Granick, who is the Deputy Commissioner of the National Basketball Association. And, of course, we'll take your phone calls at 718-937-6666 between now and 2 o'clock. Hopefully, as the morning progresses, don't forget we're an hour in front of, at least according to the clock, where the Yankees are now in Minnesota. Hopefully, within the next couple of hours,
This is John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Jets football.
Hi, back on the fan. Nice to have you aboard. 718-937-6666. Two-way Sports Talk telephone number.
I'm Bill Daughtry with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Jets football.
And a pleasant good evening, everybody. I'm Gary Cohen. I get to sit in for the next 3 hours. This is Rain Out Theater at its very best. Gary Cohen with you on the fan. Mets and the Pirates rained out tonight at Shea, necessitating a doubleheader tomorrow. After what felt like a doubleheader yesterday, it was only one country with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your flagship station for New York Jets football. And welcome back to Rain Out Theater. I'm Gary Cohen with you till 10 o'clock when Ian Eagle will fly on in. Tomorrow's
Sports Radio 66 and WFAN New York.
the danger of recording promotional material. Yes, actually it will be game 1 and game 2 of a 3-game series between the Mets and the Pirates tomorrow. We'll be back on the other side to take more of your calls. Sports happening. I'm Bill Daughtry with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station of New York Jets football. It is 9:06 on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. I'm Gary Cohen with the continuation of Rain Out Theater. Mets and the Pirates rained out tonight here at Shea. They'll play 2 tomorrow, beginning at 1:10 in the afternoon, and we'll join you with Mets on deck at 12:35. A very distressing note just crossed the wire and has been confirmed. Sports Ticker reporting that San Francisco Giants special assignment scout Bob Miller was killed today in an automobile accident. 9:46 on the fan. Gary Cohen with you up until 10 o'clock when Chris
What is my opinion of his performance? How can you ask me a question like that? What is my opinion of his performance? He hit 3 home runs. I'm off to lose a game. And you ask me my opinion of his performance. I mean, that's a tough question to answer.
Linebacker Chris Moore will be coming along in just a few moments after Bill Daughtry and the Sports Flash. It's been a pleasure. I'm Gary Cohen. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon for a double dip.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan, WFAN.
2020.
I'm Bill Daughtry with 2020 Sports on WFAN, your flagship station for New York Jets football. Hey, what do you say? We're here. Chris Moore on the Fan for the next, that's right, 7 hours till 5 a.m. Rob Tepper across the way will be punching up the numbers, and we'll be having a good time. Nice to be here tonight, and we'll be taking you right till 5. We'll be talking about, you name it, all sorts of stuff.
Sports leader, Sports Radio 66, The Fan, WFAN, New York.
Richard Neer back with you on in just a minute.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan, WFAN.
I did John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Jets football.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan, WFAN, New York.
And we're back on the Fan, Sports Radio 66 WFAN, our traditional time to talk to Mr. Ed Coleman regarding the foibles of the New York Mets. Their smiles, their frowns, their ups, their downs. We've become accustomed to this pace. Here's Eddie. How are you doing, Eddie?
Oh, just
All day long here on the Fan.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan, WFAN.
Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Jets football. Your team.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan, WFAN, New York.
And a good morning, everybody. Tis a couple minutes after 10 here on Sports Radio 66 WFAN in New York. Today we happen to be in Jersey, as a matter of fact. Jody Mac from the track coming to you live from the Meadowlands. Today